I'm Colin Mills. I work very intuitively. I'm not trained. I haven't gone through photo school. I just use the camera as a tool of art, basically. So the series is entitled Suspension. And the idea of suspension was taking a look at that word and what it meant and its relationship to the pictures. The idea that these are suspended in air, which is what the subject is. It is literally suspended in air. The images themselves we've decided to print on sheets of aluminum, which means they don't have frames and they don't have matting. They're hanging away from the wall a couple of inches, so it's kind of suspended away from the wall. It's boundaryless, connotes an idea of gravitylessness. Suspension also has a connotation of mystery. These are quite mysterious images. It connotes anticipation, being in suspense. I think these images have that sort of idea of suspension and doubt. You're not quite sure what it is that you're looking at in these images. While they're pure aesthetic, they're also very much narrative, because you can't help but to start associating it with something, likening it to something. There's also a connection to music, which is really close to my heart. So in music, the idea of suspension is you get these notes that are hanging and being held as other notes come in. And this idea of the tension and then the resolution of that is a big part of these pictures, and that's expressed largely through focus, because all of these pictures have bits of places that are in focus and bits that are out of focus. And as a consequence, your eye moves over the picture and you catch the tension of the pieces that are out of focus, and then there's this resolution in the bits that are in focus. And there's sort of this etherealness connects to Renaissance music, which is kind of my musical home, if you would. The other theme to these images that is really important to me is motion, the role of motion. And so there's three ways that plays out. One is that the subject is in motion, and dramatically in motion. What I'm taking pictures of is not static at all. So as a consequence, there's a real working to find the images, real on the spot decision making as to how to run the camera, what settings, and I'm constantly changing the settings. Like I'll change the settings virtually for every image, and I'm taking them one after the other as I try and adapt to what it is that I'm seeing in front of me and the level of brightness and the degree of motion. So the subject is in motion. The second thing is that I'm in motion, or the camera is in motion. So I'm moving the camera as I take these pictures, which is part of the unorthodox thing. So the subject and the object are in motion. And then there's this third element, which is actually, I think, the most important element, and that is that the way I select which are the pictures that are ones that I want to put forward as my art is really the degree to which it keeps my eye in motion. So as I sit and as I look at this picture, if my eye cannot sit still, if my eye is constantly dancing across the image, keeping it in motion, going back and forth, finding tension and resolution to that tension, and being drawn elsewhere, and seeing things and darting off to the corner of the picture to see what it is that I've caught out of the corner of my eye, and then back again to some other part of the picture. Those are the ones that are good. And so I've actually found these pictures, in the way that they keep the eye in motion, to be emotional. So the motion translates into emotion. And it's not a traditional emotion of, child crying in picture. It's an emotion that's really inexplicable, and it gives you the opportunity to write into that picture what it is that your emotions are saying to you.